Coming up, I know we spoke about it on the phone. You had to have known that Rob was a traitor.
No. If I would have lasted one more episode, I think I would have started to say his name. When you know who the traitors are from the very first episode, of course you're going to say and sit at your screens and be like, this is so easy.
One word you would use to describe your reality TV experience.
Shit show. An absolute shit show.
Meet Harry Jowsey, reality TV heartthrob. He's been loved, ghosted, cancelled, and kissed. He spilled his guts.
I did what?
In a world of ghosting and dodging red flags, Harry's filling his boyfriend's toolbox one lesson at a time. It's Harry Jowsey, boyfriend material.
Guys, what is going on, you naughty little traitors? Because this week, we are locked the fuck in. He's back. He's beautiful. He's amazing. He's in a little bit of hot water. We love him so much. There's some angry old fucking pelicans that are getting angry at him, and I don't like it because I really love this guy. Today, we are joined by NFL player, ex-Bachelor, podcast host, cast member of this season's Emmy-winning show, The Traitors, and return guest on the couch. It's Colton Underwood. Hello, how you doing?
Hi.
I'm so angry for you.
Angry pelicans.
Angry little pelicans. Also,
Yeah.
fuck that old seagull, Michael Rapaport. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. Okay? I'm speaking for him. That shit is whack. Okay, sorry. Anyway, I gotta ask you questions. How you doing?
Gosh. I'm good.
Are you okay?
I'm good, yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna be out next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys just filmed the reunion. There's so much drama around this show.
I know.
Obviously, you can't tell us too much, but I did see there was some tea saying that you stormed off set. Do you want to clear it up when you're filming that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't always have time to like go back and forth and say this is true, this is not true, but like I did not storm off of the set.
Yeah.
There's planned, as you know, at reunions or filming, like there's planned breaks, and when they bring new people out and position them, you have like 10 minutes of downtime. So everybody stayed in their seat, and I just went out, and my team was there,
And
so I talked to them and had
they
water.
Just spun it to a fucking, I guess.
There's a lot of spin that's happened on this season, I'll just say that.
Yeah, there is, huh?
And I've sort of just been sitting there taking it, and like I'm exhausted at this point of my career. Like I don't have time to go online and combat every negative or just quite frankly lie that's out there about me. It's just also not good for my mental health either.
Like move on.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
What the fuck? People, it's actually really hard to watch as a friend because I was watching this show. I love the show.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before. It's the first season I've watched. I'm like, this is sick.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
And I was a fan of the show.
Why did you say yes to it?
Well, because I said no 2 other times, and then I was like finally like, okay, this is my time to do it.
Okay.
It just didn't work in my schedule, and then this one did, and I was like, okay, I got to do this.
Was there when you walk on set, how big is that fucking castle? Is it actually
It's
crazy?
massive.
Yeah.
You know, there's limitations of where set and cameras are and stuff, but it's surreal, and it's like you really get thrown into it. I mean, you saw how intense I played that game. Like, if you're gonna go work, like let's call it what it is for me, like that is work, showing up, competing on a show, making television. I want to give it my all.
You did, yeah.
I know it was pretty intense probably for some people, but like I'd rather that than to go on there and be boring.
No, because if you have a show of people that don't give a fuck about it and are just like don't even get, like if I was there, I'd be like, oh, I'm nonchalant, I'm an idiot. But you were like locking in on everything.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that, you don't have a show. Like you don't have people like
I think there's some casts that would say that. Like I sort of took like whatever they want to deem like the leadership role from the faithful side of things, where I was like, I'm not afraid to say people's names, and like I missed, with Tiffany pretty big. But I think what people need to realize from a strategy standpoint is like that's not all bad, because now that I have heat on me, it keeps me protected from murder.
Yeah.
So like there's parts of my gameplay that I think the audience doesn't really fully understand. Yeah. There is some strategy in there. Also, like I wasn't super familiar with Tiffany or her from Big Brother. So my theory of going in is I would rather play the game with the devil I know than the devil I don't.
Hey.
So like I know how to handle other people and play the game with and against other people. Yeah. But the gamers were definitely somebody who I had my antennas up on.
Yeah, they were good, huh?
It's their profession.
That's
of course.
Wild.
So like naturally I'm like, okay, this is like just as much as like we show up and can make great TV. Yeah. They do too, but they also play one hell of a game. And I knew that going in, like the gamers know what they're doing.
What was your strategy going in, and then did it change?
It's sort of funny. Like going in, I was like, I don't really want to be bold. I don't really want to take risks. And then all of that goes out of the window when you see the other personalities. And then, so I think like you see me getting my footing in the first 2 or 3 episodes, which is like a week of filming. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, like this is the way that I'm playing the game. So I have to just go push all my chips in and go all in as like this in your face, brash.
It's brave.
Like I played really cocky. I'm very self-aware of like, if people are just meeting me for the first time, they're going to be assuming that I'm like this cocky asshole, but like I'm playing a game in Scotland.
I don't think so. Like I don't think you come off that way. I think you just be like, it's a fucking TV show. It's a game. Like it's literally not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But you were there, but for a mission. Like you were getting it. It's like you're there to figure it out. And you were just having fun. That's how I saw it. Anyway, as your friend, I was like, damn it, you can see your eyes light up. And I'm like, he's clocking everything. Like nothing's getting past Colton.
I had like this whole notepad, all my notes of suspicions, levels, tiers.
Did you really?
Oh, I took it so serious.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I had people in like tier 1 suspect, tier 2, tier 3. And
wait, when were you doing that? Did they
in the
even
hotel?
show that?
No, they didn't share it.
Okay.
But in my hotel notebook,
Wow.
they have like a face sheet for everybody with their names underneath, and I would put different tiers and move people around of like who I was suspecting and why.
So when you get back to the hotel and stuff, they give you.
I made all my notes. I put on there who voted for who at every round table. So
Holy
I had
shit.
like when I went back to look at my notes, I was like, okay, this person voted for this person, so this doesn't quite add up or make sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm playing a game.
Oh, so yeah.
Of course, you're playing for money, but also for me, it was more bragging rights and like I'm a fan of the show, so I just wanted to like play really hard and win. Here's my hot take on Traitors and why I think civilians is better.
I agree.
We all get contracts to go play this game.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell you at one point in any of the episodes what the prize pot was. Like, I wasn't really doing it, fully. Yeah. And that's just me. There was some people, like Tiffany for sure was like, I need this money. And that is great. Like, I was more so there to like, I'm having a great time playing this game. I sort of just want to win to say like I won the show.
Yeah.
And like the money would be an added bonus and like I would love that. But I think that's why, as a fan, I love watching the UK civilian version. I'm so excited for what they're calling the US civilian version too.
It's gonna crush.
Even though we're civilians as well. It's the whole concept of whatever. Nobody's meant to be a celebrity. I just think they play with a little bit more motivation.
See, that's the thing. I'm like looking at their housewives getting so angry, and I'm like, you're rich. This is fine.
It's an ego thing with them. Like it's not, they don't, it's not
doesn't
like,
make sense
also,
to me.
I don't know if like all of them knew, by the way, like Dorinda's my girl. I love Dorinda, but some of them I'm just like, it's a game. Can we relax?
Yeah. Like
we work together, we filmed a television show and we played a game.
And you're still getting paid. And the worst case scenario is you go home.
Right.
Go back to your mansion.
You get murdered and banished and you go fly first class back home.
Yeah, like it's all good.
I know.
Like it's really not that big of a deal.
I know, but it's
TV.
It's so intense.
It was I think it was obviously probably bird's eye view. Great cast. Like
100%.
You've got every aspect. And I think a perfect show is when people kind of after it are still so like passionate about it, because I've done so many shows where I'm like, oh, whatever, who cares?
Is it?
Yeah.
I just wish we could leave all the drama in the castle.
I think as a viewer, like,
well, as somebody who's
in the middle of it,
I would rather some of that stay in the castle and
they can send it
stay
to me.
Part of work.
Send me some, guys, get me involved in the drama, please. No, dude.
Gosh.
It was honestly, it was like such a joy to watch it. When you got deleted out of the game or murdered, which is kind of like a little bit scary when they say that. How did you feel? Were you, because you held it pretty well that you were like all good with it, but I'm like, fuck, he was so close to like cracking everything.
Yeah, at that point of the game, I knew the only way for me to like win or to sort of not have a countdown of when I'm going to be murdered and or banished, I needed to get recruited. So that's why I was sort of playing as aggressive.
So good.
Rob sort of knew. I was sort of like how he's viewing Mora right now is he's like basically like Mora is essentially a traitor because I have her under my wing. So like that's I think somewhat how he felt with me is like, I serve my purpose, and I also think he's smart enough to realize he didn't want me in that turret with him. Because because I'm savvy. I could have turned on him very quickly.
Would you?
I love Rob. Yeah, but for a competition, 100%. The first move, if he would have, and I would tell Rob this too, if he would have recruited me, my very first move would be to bring him up at the banishment table the very next day and get him out.
No, you wouldn't have.
For sure.
Why? No way.
Because that's the name of the game. It's traitors. You're supposed to do like,
and you meant that you want to have
self-preservation.
Wow, you would have done that. Wow.
Yeah,
You're a
probably.
motherfucker. If you say you were a traitor in this
Yeah.
cast, who was your perfect lineup of traitors?
I would have loved to play the game as a traitor with Mark Ballas.
Oh, he's good, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, because Mark and I would have worked really well together. And like the third, I think, should be somebody who's like maybe a little unassuming, but yeah, we can like, they'll step on their own feet.
Yeah.
I actually think like Amora or even like
Yeah.
a Tiffany as a traitor would have been really fun.
Yeah.
Tiffany would have been really good at being a traitor.
Wait, why do you think they picked Donna for the secret traitor?
I don't know. I have thoughts on that because that's the secret traitor had to be one of the toughest roles you could ever play in this game.
For sure.
And to give it to Donna, like I think she's very capable, but also she comes in sort of on an island. Like she's not part of a franchise, she's not part of a group or a clique.
Yeah.
And the castle gets pretty cliquey pretty quick. It feels a little bit like high school where
Yeah.
you're like trying to find your group, and I don't think there's necessarily like a cool kids table, but there's like people are trying to like buddy up and group up
Pretty quick, yeah.
pretty quick. And I think she very much felt like she was a little bit out on an island, which I get.
For sure.
So
Yeah, especially because on the show she was saying she's like a big fan of everyone.
Yeah.
And it could, obviously that's probably definitely overwhelming too. Like you get to meet all the people that you're watching on TV, and then now you have to like murder someone.
Well, and like in her defense too, like then you're sort of on their turf too.
Yeah.
Like, she's done television, she's done commercials, but like being on a reality television show is much different.
Especially with those personalities.
Yes.
It's crazy. Wait, how was the challenges? Because they looked massive. They looked like they were long days.
That was my favorite parts. I just
Really?
loved it. Yeah, I wish they would have made them harder. I
Shut
was like,
up.
I was
No
loving
way.
it. Yes, I was. Everybody, and it was so funny because they didn't show all of it. But when we'd have to partner up or pair up, it was either like people were lining up for like Rob, me,
Yeah.
Steven, and like fighting
Yeah.
over who can get partnered with who.
I know we spoke about it on the phone. You had to have known that Rob was a traitor.
No,
You guys are so...
the thing, my notebook. I
Okay.
had 2 notes on Rob. One was the Candace vote. I didn't last. If I would have lasted one more episode, I think I would have started to say his name. The other thing that didn't sit well with me with Rob was the dagger play. It didn't make
Yeah.
sense. Where I was like, why is he telling all of us? Because statistically speaking, one of us has to be a traitor. So I was like, why is Rob telling everybody?
Wait, yeah, I was curious about that because when I was
He
watching...
did it for coverage.
Yeah, because it didn't make sense. I'm like, I just would have not told anyone. But then,
Right.
do you think he's a genius or he just got lucky?
Yeah, I think Rob's playing a brilliant game.
Okay.
Like he's playing borderline genius game. And I think there's a lot of online talk right now, and I've seen some things that they just aren't giving him enough credit. He's playing brilliantly.
Yeah.
And there's only so much that the faithful can do. I think one thing for viewers to understand is like when you know who the traitors are from the very first episode, of course you're going to say and sit at your screens and be like, this is so easy.
Yeah.
But when you're in the castle and everybody's paranoid and on edge and looking for everything, it's a very, very difficult game to play. It's so hard.
Yeah.
And then you got people yelling at you and bringing things up, and you got to defend yourself and like
Yeah.
your feet are to the fire.
Was there anything that we missed when Michael was being a bit of a sausage to you? Like, that was crazy. If you want to talk about it.
No, yeah. We're good now. That's what I'll say is like,
Okay.
I'm not like, I don't ever
it
want to
just pissed me off, actually.
add gas to the fire.
Yeah.
What I think I can say about Michael, and he would probably agree on, is he's somebody who puts his foot in his mouth a lot. And I grew up in locker rooms around people like that. So I'm very familiar with how to deal with that. I think what people don't understand is while I was filming episode 4 and 5, which was the Tiffany episode and the Michael episode, my husband's dad passed away. And so I'm like dealing with, talking to my husband. He's telling me to stay and finish the show, but he's like grieving.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sleeping a lot. I'm like in wreck, didn't even get to say goodbye to my father-in-law. Like
Whoa.
it was an emotionally draining experience, those two specifically, just because I just remember being so in it. Like they were pulling me like even on set, and the production company was great. They gave me every opportunity. When my husband needed to talk to me, they would like come and get me, and like I would talk to him.
Oh, man.
So like that was nice. I think that's like the perspective that I think people should understand is like, sure, that comment sort of threw me off and got me going, but I was already like a little sleep deprived. I was very emotional. And there's a lot of context that gets left out because
oh, man,
you don't get to put it all in the show.
Whoa.
So yeah, so there was a lot like while we were filming that was going
Does
on.
anyone know that? Like,
No, I mean it's not really out there, but like that's like,
yeah.
and that's also why everybody's like he has crazy eyes. I'm like, yeah, because I'm sleeping 1 hour a night,
Yeah.
and I'm fucking crying.
and everyone's screaming.
Right.
Like this. Yeah.
I was like, I am exhausted right now.
yeah. Like guys, give this guy a break.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
So it was kind of probably bittersweet when you got banished because you come back home and
that was what I kept telling him. I was like, look, as soon as I'm gone, like we gotta get me on the first flight out so I can get home to my family.
yeah.
So
How's that?
it was definitely bittersweet. Where I was like, okay, I'm playing a game aggressive, like proactively enough that maybe I can get murdered or I get to go home to my family.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man. That's horrible.
But I didn't really have anybody to talk to in the castle because I didn't want to tell my other castmates what I was going through at home because I didn't want them to think I was staying on the show because I was a traitor. So that just shows you like how that just shows you like the depth that you have to go into how you play the game strategically. I didn't want to put any doubt into anybody's mind of being like, that's weird. If I had a family member that was passing away, I would leave the show. So I just didn't want people to think that.
This is so hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what I would do. I'm an open book. I would just be like, yeah, guys.
I gotta go.
yeah. Well,
Trust me. Yeah.
Dude, man, hats off to you to deal with people. Like, also, like coming at your character and dealing with the loss. This is a lot.
I think we're in a really interesting place in society right now. Like this whole parasocial dynamic, like I'm sure you get it too, but like people feel like they know me and they have this like right and entitlement to like know every detail of my life because I have been pretty like vocal and vulnerable and open with sort of my path and my journey. But like it is getting to a point where it's a little overwhelming now.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a full understanding. They're talking about things in my past that they have no idea really what was going on or what's true. Like that's like the thing that, you know, I can't say much about the situation other than the fact that, of course, I have a ton of regret and I've taken accountability in the past, but like I'm tired of having to answer questions around it. Like the public, we've handled it privately. We moved on and it's doing nobody this service to keep rehashing things.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's also like, like I get stuff where people from like years and years and years ago, I'm like, how do you want me to, how can I grow? Like, how can we grow from this?
I mean, 6 years. It's been 6 years for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a husband and a father, and I think what's maybe hard or difficult for people is they're using the darkest, lowest moment of my life, and they're drawing a line to how I showed up and played the game Traitors. I can sit here and be like, I played the game as a sort of like a little bit of a cocky, brash asshole. Like, that's how I carried myself, and I played the game because I'm ultra competitive and I wanted to win. Yeah. There's no way, shape, form, or fashion of like how I played that game that I show up in my real life. Like it's not who I am.
It's not real
I'm just
life.
a competitor.
Yeah, like it's not real life. Also, like how many people could come and sit down and say, "Hey, I was being an arsehole." Like, not many people have that accountability or reflection. Like I know what I've been on, so I'm like, that guy's a dick. Like looking at myself,
right.
I'm like,
but it's like for me, it was always I felt like the way that I played the game was always fair. In the fact that like when I came to the round table, I brought things up that happened in the game. I never wanted to, that's why I think like my only issue with Michael's comment is I felt like it was a little below the belt because he was trying to bring in my past to use like against me a little bit. And I know there was shades of me doing that a tad bit with Lisa, but it was more so her energy in the castle that I was calling out versus like who she is, you know, who she is in life. I just felt like that was my game plan is like, if I came to the round table with evidence, I wanted to make sure it was solely based in the game and like the drama was the competition. It was not personal.
I think people just get so caught up in shit and they like want to hold something over someone or like get a reaction. Like even Rob, like he dropped his fork. He dropped his, I'm like, how many times?
You read into everything.
Like, how many times
have
you tried to pick up something and slipped? It's like he's nervous. Also, like his boy just left. Like as a viewer, sick show. Like so, I'm so stressed for you.
It's so good.
Like I've watched it. I'm like, fuck, man. Like this is so intense. Do you think you'd be friends, or you're gonna be friends with any of them after the show? Like, are you?
Yeah, we had a blast, and I think most people understood the assignment. Like we're professionals. Like we show up to work. At least for me, I carry myself in a professional manner outside of it. Like there's no part of me that wants to get in this tit for tat social media me versus them type game. I'm down to do that in the castle and when the cameras are on and like make television. Outside of that, like I'm a dad, I'm a husband. I don't need people in my business.
Yeah, we're good.
So yeah.
When you're watching it back, is there any like because Mark was a little bit quieter,
Yeah.
and I saw him at an event, and he's like, "Yeah, man, like I don't really care about like TV time. Like I just want to have fun. Like
Yeah.
like it's rare. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to go away to Scotland and film a show where you get to play and like be a
Right.
big kid."
Right.
So I was talking to him about that, and I was like, "Yeah, fair enough. Like, is there? I know people were talking about him, and who else was it? Like, just being
Kristen.
Kristen. Yeah, being a little bit quieter or not having
Yeah.
screen time. Is there any of their stories or any things that like other cast members? You're like, oh, I wish that was shown.
Yeah, Kristen, not specifically, just because I think you've seen like she came for me at one point, but Mark and I were pretty close. Like they didn't air a ton of that. They didn't air a ton of my alliance with Jam Jam and Natalie. I think one thing that people don't understand is like the reason I went so hard after Tiffany was because she was coming after Jam Jam, and Jam Jam was in my alliance.
Okay.
So like there's some moments that sort of fall flat or read weird because like you don't get to see every conversation that I had with Jam Jam and Natalie and Rob. Like that was, we were sort of clicked up for a while there, and Mark and Kristen had their game plan, and like they played and executed exactly how they wanted to play. I think they would admit that there was a few missteps, but I can't fault them for playing the game that they wanted to play.
Yeah.
I just thought me playing as loud as I did sort of protected me in a way. I can see like some people being like, wow, he's like missing. And it's like that's okay for my game. Like to have a little heat on you.
Yeah.
Because then it protects you from people, from the traitors wanting to murder you because your name is being brought up and written down at the banishment table. Like it's not all bad.
So if I do it, I should be loud and crazy.
I mean, you have to make the decision.
No, I wouldn't know what to do.
I think what I would tell
ask you.
people is you can't really come into the game without a strategy until you see who else is in the cast.
True. Fuck.
It changes everything.
Yeah. Did you know everyone?
For the most part.
Okay.
I think everybody's sort of kicking themselves because they didn't know Jonna and Tara were so close.
Crazy.
I didn't know.
That
I mean, I
was
knew they
wild.
were both figure skaters, but I didn't know like they're broadcast partners and like best friends.
Yeah.
I would have tried to break that up right away.
Yeah.
They were so smart with how they executed that.
Whoa. Okay. I did see people split online though, saying that how they kind of brought it up at the.
I thought that was their strongest gameplay moment.
Really? Okay. Why?
Yeah, because they weren't really right until like it was too late with
Yeah.
them. They were. I don't think Tara wrote one traitor's name down the entire time.
Yeah, she was.
I love her.
She has the worst
I
gut
adore her.
instinct. Yeah.
But I think that was like her best. That was her and Johnny's best move of the game.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Was bringing that up because it sort of just like threw everybody off.
Oh, true. Yeah. Okay. If you were them, when would you say it? Would you wait till the final moment?
I think it was fine
Okay.
how they did it, how they played it.
Interesting. Yeah, because I wouldn't know what to do.
I mean, they're in their confessionals saying like, we have no clue what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So like they're self-aware enough to understand like it was a really hard game.
They seem really lovely. Were they cool?
They were great.
Okay.
They were great.
Yeah.
I love them.
A question about Michael's eating. Was that natural? He was doing that around everyone and like normal? Or because I'm like, if that was me, I'd be doing weird shit on camera too to get screen time.
I'm not going to defend it, but I understand it.
No! What?
I grew up in a
Colton,
house
if you're eating like that, we got to talk.
I grew up in a house where if you weren't eating the food on your plate, somebody else was taking it off your plate. So like you got to eat quick. I would never do it on camera. Like that's like a private, like finish the food off. But like now I do it with like bread and then you like
That's
spoon
fine.
it in. Yeah.
But eating like Colton, there's no way.
I'm not gonna defend it.
I'm gonna come to your house and slap you. If I see you eat like that, I'm tackling you.
I don't eat like that. But I grew up in a house that I would fully understand if you had to.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
There's a lot of fun moments on this season.
Yeah. Oh, is there anything that we missed? Is there anything that people cut out?
Yeah, I mean, I think people need to, like, the conga line was something that was discussed over and over and over again. Like, that wasn't just like a out of the blue, you dummies, how did you not see this coming? Like, we were talking about the conga line for a day. So that was...
Oh, really?
Sort of downplayed a little bit. We really just did have a great time making a great television show and competing against each other. And like everybody played the game in their own way. They played hard. Yeah. And I really just loved competing against everybody.
Yeah, I think out of everything, like that would just be so cool to like have your phone taken for a month or so and just play a game, like a murder mystery game.
Totally.
We had Monet Exchange on the podcast, and that episode's back up
Love her.
because I accidentally deleted the YouTube channel.
You deleted the YouTube channel? How do you accidentally delete a YouTube channel?
Okay. No. So it's been down.
Maybe you wouldn't be good at Traitors.
No, I'm terrible. I can't even get out of bed. Okay, so it was like 2 weeks ago. I'm at home and I was like, oh, I should probably clean up all these old emails. Like I have so many random emails. So I just started deleting everything. But mind you, I was also taking photos of my screen, sending it to ChatGPT. I was like, am I doing the right thing? It's like, yep, delete this.
That's your first mistake.
Well, it's never led me astray. It has. And then I was like, it said, oh, if you delete this, it will delete your Google account. So I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Let's get rid of that. And then that night I'm laying in bed. I'm like, oh, I want to finish this podcast that I was watching. I'm like, on my phone. I'm like, where the fuck is the YouTube channel? I can't log in. Like, this is crazy. And then I'm like, oh, I'll just sleep on it and it'll come back in the morning, which I don't know why I thought that. But I'd be a terrible trader. That's what I'm getting out of this. I'm terrible.
Did YouTube help you get it back?
Yeah, we had a rep that finally helped, and then so we're back up on YouTube.
Great,
so we could finally have video because we stopped last week because I was gonna quit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna quit the podcast.
Wait, maybe you would be good at Traitors now. You're dramatic.
I am, huh?
Yeah, you're a little emotional and dramatic. You sort of have that like that dramatic flair.
No,
that I feel like sometimes I bring to the table.
A bit of a diva.
Yeah.
Wait, who was dressing you for this show? Because everyone looks so good.
Thank you. Her name's Christy Harrison. I love her. She's mainly does a lot of like costume design set for commercials and stuff. But we put together what we call like a preppy jock look. I just loved it.
Okay,
it's sort of like a preppy, fun, edgy. Like I was so fully invested in going full camp. Like it's a campy show.
Yeah.
It's Alan Cumming hosting. You know,
so
you're filming a show in Scotland in a castle. Like people need to chill out. There's a reason why I wore what I wore. Like I know a lot of people had thoughts on my pearl harness with my headband, but we had a mood board. Yeah. And you don't get to see that in the context. And also, everybody else was wearing ridiculous things. Rob was wearing a silk open back lace corset. And you want to come for my headband and my pearl chest or my pearl harness? It's a dog pile mentality. I'm convinced of it. It's okay. People will be mad at somebody else next week.
Yeah. Wait, what did you wear to the reunion? Did you bring the pearls back?
No, I thought about it. They made the trip to the hotel room, but I didn't.
No way.
I needed to be chill. Like when I'm playing a game, I could get going. Yeah. But like at the reunion, I had nothing but nice things to say.
When you are filming the show, do they tell you like everything that's coming up for the outfits? Or is that...
yeah. Okay. So they know, like my stylist and we photographed every outfit that I brought.
God.
And then production got to see that. And then they would help depending on what we were doing and also what the temperature of Scotland was. Because we don't have our phone to check like temperatures.
Oh,
so they would advise on like, I would wear a long sleeve or a cardigan today because it's going to be chilly. So that's sort of
fascinating.
Yeah. So they help you out in that context, but they don't ever like, if I didn't want to wear something, I just would wear something else. So there was no control over that.
Right, yeah, because I know a lot of shows I've done, they're like super strict on like...
Well, it's because they also don't want cast in the same outfit. So like if somebody else brought a blue cardigan, they didn't want us both wearing it the same day.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It checks out.
Yeah.
Mora's outfits, she killed it.
Yeah.
She was so good.
I'm having dinner with her tonight. I love her.
I've actually messaged her like years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I could put a word in. Well, she needs like a man.
Whoa. What the fuck? Guys, leave Colton some hate in the comments. Like, wait, what do you mean by that?
No. Let's talk. Hold on. Let's talk about this because I do feel like
again that Colton hates you.
No. Just say Colton said you need a man. Here I am.
No. Look, I said cutie. Oh, and then I messaged her, more obsessed with the season of Traitors. We just had Monet on the podcast. Would love to have you on if you're in town.
I'll talk to her tonight. No, hold on. I know this is your podcast and you're interviewing me, but I do feel like you've had some growth over the years in a really good way.
Okay, good.
How has dating been for you?
I think I'm very private about my relationship life moving forward. I'm going to try, and then obviously let's marry Harry whatever. But I've tried to put up a smoke screen online, and I'm not smart. So I was trying to like pretend that I was in a relationship with my friend Anna, who also, she has a man.
Yeah.
And I was in Australia and I was like, oh, this will distract everyone. Everyone will think I'm with Anna. And then we were posting like every day, like crazy stuff. And literally all the comments were like, you guys have the worst chemistry ever. So I'm not very good.
I read through it.
Yeah, people are smart. It's kind of annoying. Well,
some people are smart.
They're bitches. Okay, back to Traitors because I love it so much.
Yeah.
And you've watched all the other seasons or just a couple?
I've watched UK. So you have a Firestick while you're filming. Okay. So you can watch other seasons while you're filming the show. So I was watching all the UK
They
versions.
really get in your fucking head, huh?
I mean, they like to put you in the mood. I liked it too because I was so locked in.
Okay, is there any? Because Monet said that when you guys go to the table, there's like Hunger Games music playing.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else that they're doing that's like?
When the cameras aren't on, I mean, you've probably experienced this in your other shows. You're on ice. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Like you can't talk about game, relationship, anything. You could keep it very general of like get to know. But they also want you to get to know each other on camera too. I think my overall feeling is like the show is so good at what it does. Like the production company that runs it, Studio Lambert, are all so professional. They have wellness producers on site to like look after your psyche while you're going through this.
Wow.
Which I've never experienced. Like, in fact, like I've had a company withhold a therapist from me because they needed more out of my confessionals. Like that. That's how like crazy some of this industry can be. That was not the case here. Like they were incredible. They really sort of run the set like a military operation.
Interesting.
It's really impressive.
Wait, what other shows do they do? Or is that their main?
As far as I'm concerned, it's one of their main ones. That's all I know them for.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That's really nice.
Yeah.
When you're on the Firestick watching the other seasons, is there anyone that you're watching like, oh, I should be like that person? Like, is there any previous gameplay that you looked up to, or you just?
No,
really?
I just sort of went for it, and the only strategy that I like really had and stuck to is if I was going for somebody, I was going for them. I wasn't going to be wishy-washy, especially after the first night, because I was like all ready to go for Donna, and then I switched to Portia, and I really regret that. So after that night, I told myself, anytime I'm going for somebody, I have to go all in, even if I'm wrong.
When you found out Rob was a traitor, how angry were you? Or did you just laugh?
I laughed. I think like, people had a lot to say sort of with there was like this silly rumor going on that Rob told me that he was a traitor and that we were in cahoots together, which one, I just think is lazy. You don't want to give him respect for the game he's playing. And also you don't want to credit me for, being somewhat responsible for 3 traitors going down.
Damn.
So I think there's that part.
Yeah.
2, if Rob would have told me he was a traitor, I would have tried to get him banished immediately. Like I worked with Rob under the assumption that he was a faithful and I was a faithful. And there was never any cheating or, off camera things that happened.
Wait, how do you feel about Eric then being a traitor?
I love Eric.
Okay.
I think it's so entertaining to watch him be a traitor.
He seems so sweet.
Yeah.
Like,
he is.
And then I was watching the last episode. You could just see his fucking face the first day he's a traitor. Poor guy was like really stressing.
It's hard, especially as you're playing. I could only imagine how hard it would be as you're playing the entire game as a faithful, and then all of a sudden you have to switch up. And I think you see Kristen sort of clock him right away, being like, "You're not saying anything." It's challenging. Challenging.
I get anxious thinking about it. If you were in Rob's position, who would you pick?
I think Rob picked the best person that he could have possibly picked. I think picking Eric was smart because I think he knows like Eric is a little bit disposable.
Right.
I think he knows that he can, maneuver and use him sort of as a chess piece. Yeah. I think keeping Johnny and Tara in the game as faithfuls was smart for him too. True. Because they're sort of just in their own world doing their own thing. And then I can't remember where it left off for you. Because I've seen all the episodes. So
you seen them all?
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil anything
Who
for
wins
anybody.
it?
You'll see what happens. But I would say he made the best decision that he can make for himself, both in this episode and the next one.
He wins.
I've signed so many contracts.
Did you?
Yeah, and also like you can't. I'm not going to spoil that.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I'm rooting hard for my fellow faithfuls, and I'm rooting hard for him too. It's so weird because you asked if I was like angry or pissed. Honestly, I left the show being like, good for him. Yeah. Like that couldn't have been easy. And now watching it back, I was like, he's playing chess while we're all playing checkers. Yeah, that's what's happening. I thought the best move of the entire show and of his entire gameplay was letting Candace murder me.
Sure.
She buried her own grave without even knowing it. Like she dug her own grave without even knowing it. I thought that was the strongest point. I think ideally he probably didn't want to get rid of me, but he was like, okay, it's going to get rid of Candace.
It's kind of interesting because I guess it's when emotions get the best of you.
Yeah.
Like, I think she was playing an incredible game up until that point, up until...
She was too loyal to to Lisa.
It's just
That was my only thing. I don't think it's fair to say some people are a little bit more emotional based. I mean, you have to bring whatever you want into the game. I think her mistake was being loyal to Lisa.
Because Lisa was...
Get off that ship was sinking.
Yeah.
And also, like, she couldn't save herself 1 ounce at that round table.
Yeah.
There was no original thoughts coming out of her mouth. I'll just say that.
Yeah. No, it was kind of fascinating to watch. And then she wasn't very good at, like...
defending herself.
She was terrible.
No.
Just
if I was her, the first thing I would have tried to bring up is, Colton, you just tried to ask me to recruit you. Like, you want to play as a traitor? Like, she should have brought that up at the round. I was fully ready for her to bring, like...
Really?
Yeah, because there was a risk and reward for doing that. And, like, it was a little reckless on my part. But, like, I had confidence that if she would have brought it up, I would have destroyed her at the round table. I held my own really, really well on that. Like, that round table was sort of where I prided myself on playing the game really, really well.
Yeah.
It's like I could get heat off of me. I could put heat on other people. I could talk my way, sort of out of things. Like, that's the game. So it was so much fun.
When you walk into that room, are you just already, like, anxious?
Yeah, and the Hunger Games soundtrack is playing.
That's so good.
So you're like in it.
Is there an order that they put everyone in when they go in the rooms? Because, like, breakfast is always different.
No, you walk into the room. We have the same seat every time for the round table. So everybody has their seat that they know where they're sitting. But you walk in there on your own order. And then also you get to pick whatever car you want to be in. Like, they don't tell you who's riding with who. You get to pick, you get to decide as a group who you want to ride with. Because they don't want to control the game. So
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I thought, like, the car, because when Maura in the last episode, she could see she kind of clocked Rob.
Yeah.
I thought that was a genius move by production to put them in the car together, because I saw someone on TikTok, she was like, look at her eyes, like, she's really, like, figured this shit out. That's fascinating. Is there anything else that you guys do that we don't know?
Yeah, it's just, I think people understanding, like, when you're playing for a prize money in a competition show, there's certain things that production can't do because it would jeopardize sort of the fairness of the game. So, and they did a great job of sort of operating that.
The salmon.
Yeah.
We asked Monet what the fuck was up with that. But do you know why there was limited salmon?
Because there was limited amounts of protein at that breakfast. Like, there was, like, the hard-boiled eggs, but, like, those were sitting in, like, a soggy bowl for an hour by the time you got to them. There was, like, this plate of lunch meat that was sort of like, nobody wants lunch meat at 10 a.m. Because, like, you roughly shot breakfast around 10 or 11 a.m. during the day.
Because the food at dinner looked nice.
It's good.
It's not good.
It's okay. No. It's
the worst.
It's hard. You're catering for a bunch of people, so
get a good chef.
I know. Kristen sort of.
Oh, she would have been pissed.
She whipped them into shape quick. They were like, guys, you're overcooking the chicken. Like, we gotta get this. Oh yeah, she was great. I loved having her on the cast.
Wait, so she went into the kitchen after?
She told me, she's like, I need to talk to production. Like, we got to figure this out. We got to do better here.
Love her.
I love her.
Love her.
It was great.
So much.
It was great.
Who's been hanging out after the show? Like, have you gone to Kristen's place and, like, had dinner?
I had dinner at her restaurant in Austin.
Wow.
I had having dinner with Maura. I've had dinner with Maura a few times. Had dinner with Tara, Mark, Dorinda. I think at one point called me every single day during a week. Like, she
seems so lovely.
She's just been so supportive and really there for me. I really get on with a lot of people from the cast.
Yeah.
Like, we had a great time. I mean, there's certain people who have taken it too far, and I have boundaries these days in my life, and I'm not going to sit there and pretend like everything's good with everybody. People have their own motives. They have products to sell, and they need to stay in the media for certain things. And I just wish it wasn't at my expense and sort of stepping on my back to boost yourself up, but to each their own.
Why do you think why do you think they're kind of coming for you? Like, do you feel like
I don't know. I mean, I think, like, there is a part of me that understands some viewership of watching me in 2018 or 19 as The Bachelor, and then all of a sudden you don't really follow my story or who I am or what I've been through over the last 6 years, and then you just tune into the Traitors, and it's like, who the hell is this dude? Like, it's sort of night and day, and it's night and day because I'm, like, comfortable in my own skin. Yeah. I also understand the assignment. Like, I'm hired to go make good TV and to compete on the show. It was a choice to play the way I did, but, like, I'm competitive. I thought it was good for my gameplay, and it's also not that deep.
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot of people who just feel like what you see is who that person is, and that's just, especially on a game show like The Traitors, it's just not the truth.
Reality TV is so difficult as well because it's such a small part.
Yeah,
of
I
the
think
day.
like I don't want to seem like this is an excuse, but like the edit, right? Like at the end of every show, they have to edit you a certain way for a storyline for whatever they need. Great, do whatever you want. But like I wasn't always operating at a 10 in that castle. And when I was on screen, it was like I was so intense the entire time, which is like fine because the majority of my gameplay was pretty intense, but I was not that heightened the entire show.
Yeah.
I had normal conversations with like Mark and Jam Jam and Natalie and Rob that were very chill. I think what made the final edit was me sort of pushing and driving and like being a little pesky, which, you know, is part of the game too.
Are you scared of reality TV now? Do you think you'll do any more?
No, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I would probably do an all-star version of Traitors if it aired in the UK.
Wait, why?
I just think America watches Traitors differently than how the UK watches Traitors.
Right.
America fans want the drama and they don't really fully invest into the gameplay and the strategy of it all. I think the UK really appreciates the strategy and the gameplay and what the show is. You know, I would prefer to probably, if I was going to return to the game show, do it for the BBC, the UK version.
Who would you cast on that All-Star season?
I mean, it's not really up to me.
No, if you could have a dream, like people, like if you're a traitor, who's of the previous seasons, who would you?
I would love to play with a Boston Rob or against a Boston Rob. I think Bob the Drag Queen and Monet both qualify, in my opinion.
Would be epic.
It would be great.
Yeah.
I think Dylan Efron.
Yeah.
I think Pilot Pete even would qualify. And I think the main one who I think is probably the best Traitors player to play the game is Suri from season 1.
Okay.
She's by far somebody who doesn't get enough credit in the franchise that I think was sort of paved the way for gameplay and strategy.
Yeah.
So Suri is sort of like on the Mount Rushmore for me. But yeah, what I would love to see is a hybrid of US and UK.
Oh, that could be fun.
And then just split it, like play half of the All-Star season with UK talent in the like on Peacock, and then the rest on whatever. I mean, I think they both air on Peacock anyway.
Yeah.
But
is there any shows you're eyeing off now, or like? That
oh no. Right now I'm fully producing and directing. I have a couple fun campaigns that I'm shooting, a couple commercials I'm shooting as a director and producer.
Is there anything you can tease?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
But I'm excited. I just feel like it lets me tap into the entertainment industry. It lets me tap into my creativity, and it protects me. I think,
and it's probably way better.
It is, and also you make more money.
What are we doing?
Like all these,
I might be slutting it out on Let's Marry Harry, trying to pay my bills.
And then also like, I had this moment, you would have died. Like, so we had some of our closest friends over to the house. I think it was for episode 4 or 5, and Jordan's sitting next to me. And it was one of my more heightened episodes, but it was the first time that it clicked for him that he was like, oh, I married a reality television star.
No.
So like, he's like grabbing my leg, like intense, being like, what is going to happen here? Like, it clicked for him, like, finally, because, like, I had done other projects. I've done Masked Singer. I've done all these, like, sort of loose ones. But, like, Traitors is, like, sort of, like, the first massive show that I've done since Bachelor. I think he sort of had that aha moment of, like, oh, boy, I better, like, buckle up because, like, I did not fully understand all of this.
Yeah, God.
And then in the same breath, he's like, you're so good at it. But he's like, oof, now I'm like, it's hard for him to read some of the comments and stuff. I think he's a little bit more sensitive than I am with that.
Do you think he's more worried about, because he's in politics, is he more worried about politics or reality TV comments?
Politics, for sure. I mean, the thing is, like, even like all this, like the buzz in the news and all of that, I'm like, our country is on the brink of a civil war, and like, this is what you want to talk about? Like, I don't have time for this. I'm like making sure that my family and friends and people in, you know, like in my world that are vulnerable, like, are okay. Like, I really don't care what you have to say. Like,
like it's just,
it puts a lot of things in perspective.
How is he doing since the passing of his dad?
He's doing okay. I think, you know, trauma or grief is a hard thing, and it's not linear by any means. You know, it comes in waves, and I'm trying my best to support him and process everything too.
What have you learned about yourself and love in grief? Because it's kind of special. Like, I wish I was married.
I'm not really good at it. Like, I think it was something that we had to have a conversation about, because I'm good at showing up for him in other ways. But like, I've never been one to sit in tough emotions. I always just like power through, and like
Yeah.
I just don't like sitting in an emotion for too long,
Yeah.
and both positive and negative. So it's hard for me to sit there and process his grief, and like sit in that feeling for too long, because like it becomes a little all consuming for me.
Yeah.
So
Dude.
it was a challenging period in our relationship, but like we worked through it together and came out on the other side stronger than ever.
And on top of that, being a dad, how is that going?
Yeah, it's the best.
Is
It's like my little human Xanax. Like
Yeah.
to wake up every morning and get handed his stuffed animal out of his crib and give me a big hug, and he gives open mouth kisses right now. Like, and it's just so sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to put it, and it's like it's the greatest role of my life. It's
Really?
Yes. I take so much pride in being his dad.
What's the coolest thing that you've learned about being yourself, I guess, in this process too?
Yeah, a lot. I wrote a new book.
You wrote a book?
Yeah.
Can you guys relax? You're doing so much.
I know.
Wait.
Well, that'll be. I'll have to send you it when it comes out. But
Yeah, when's
it's
that?
coming. It's coming soon.
And
so.
is that on Dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called Dear Bishop.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm very, very excited about that. So that's to come.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I know. It's been a really cool and interesting and fun season of life for me.
Yeah.
A lot of shifts, a lot of changes, some uncomfortable emotions coming up, but like I've been through worse. Like I'll say that.
Yeah.
And like what I went through in 2020, like I didn't have a support system, and I struggled with like notoriety and fame and whatever you want to call it, of being like thrusted into the spotlight and then falling on my face. Whereas now, I have a son, a husband, a family that like I can show up as myself in and have that support. So it's been nice.
That's so special.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can tease about the book or projects or anything? Or
Yeah, it's basically, I released a book while I was still closeted.
okay.
So it's through my lens, in my words, to my son,
Wow.
about what I went through in my 20s. So it's like the man who I became and how I became that person.
Dude, you've done a lot of reflection.
Yeah.
Like you really
it was really healthy. It was really cathartic to write it. So
been really thinking.
yeah.
We all got to think.
And it's like a little time capsule for him.
And did they know about looking to move or what?
I think I've never really hid the fact that like I think LA's okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for work, and I do eventually want to get back to like land and property. I just think nature's so healing.
Yeah.
In whatever form, like sand, the ocean, touching a red, like it's the silliest things. You called them silly pelicans or angry pelicans at the beginning. I just call them people who need to go touch grass.
Yeah.
Like just everything on the internet is not real, both good and bad.
Yeah.
Like that's my takeaway, especially from this season of life, is like as loud as the internet is, like I went out on Friday night and we went to a gay bar, and I had so many people come up to me like loving how I played the game.
You must be a king at a gay bar.
It was so fun.
Like that'd be awesome.
And then Jordan was there, and he goes, isn't this a good reminder that we need to get out of our house more? People were fans of how I played the game. And I thought that it felt so good, because you sort of get, the algorithm's a real thing. Like you start getting sucked into this thing, and then like that creates like this vacuum. There was a lot of people who sort of liked how I played, which made me feel good.
It's great. Also, it's like you watch one mean video and you keep getting served those. Like that's the problem. Like you have to learn to scroll quickly.
Totally.
Like I need to see fan edits myself.
Or we just need to stop with the algorithms.
Yeah.
These
good point.
companies,
Yeah.
they know what they're doing.
They're good at it.
Yeah.
Before we finish,
Yeah.
any advice for me on Let's Marry Harry? It's coming out soon. No idea when. I just keep saying it. Okay.
Well, before I give you any advice, I will say I have noticed over years of friendship the growth, and I'm going to say man that you have become, and I'm so happy and so proud. I do hope, we haven't really talked about the production side of things.
Okay.
I do hope you are very honest and straightforward with them.
Yeah.
It's hard. Oh, Harry.
No.
You should have called me before you went into full on production. Here would be the advice that I would have told you prior to filming.
Yeah.
Is it's probably a little painful to be upfront and honest, but the long-term gain is so worth it.
Yeah.
And it saves you a bunch of headaches.
Yeah. Well, should have fucking called you before.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be sitting there with my popcorn.
No. Yeah.
But I'm also probably going to be one of the more empathetic friends that you have, because I've been in a situation that's been very close to that.
But we had a lot of the same producers that you guys had on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
fuck, man, like it's
a different beast. Different beast.
They were explaining how The Bachelor was filmed, and it's like a fucking crazy routine, sundown to sun up. Like
I would wrap some nights at 3 a.m. and my call time would be 7 a.m. the next day. 4 hours of sleep.
I couldn't. Yeah,
Had a glass of Chardonnay in my hand every single day.
Yeah,
like I can't drink white wine anymore.
I was lit.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fully sober now.
Oh yeah.
Because
good. Right.
Girl, we were throwing them back.
They're really good at what they do. That's all I'll say about those guys.
You know what?
It's a beast.
I got very lucky. I think the team that we had.
You had some of the good ones.
We are so lucky, so blessed.
Yeah.
I have a final 4 questions.
Yes.
Before we go home.
Okay.
And we cry. There's one law that you could implement for any reality TV show. What would it be?
I think that there needs to be a union for unscripted television talent.
Oh.
I think that we need mental health services provided to us for a year after the airing of the show. I think they need to support us in a better way. SAG-AFTRA, I'm a member of SAG, and they reimburse up to 80% of all my mental health services. And I think not every unscripted and reality television personality has the ability to join SAG like I do. So I do think there needs to be a specific union. I don't know if that's a law, but like I do think like there needs to be stricter guidelines around protecting and providing mental health services for unscripted.
That's a really good one. We haven't had that yet. That's smart.
Yeah.
What is your favorite reality TV moment of all time?
I mean, I think the one that I'm most well known for is the fence jump for sure. And then I think from this season of Traitors, I just think just competing and like showing up for the first time as like this game player and strategy player was so fun for me. It was just a different,
It was also
return
really
to
cool.
television for me.
Yeah, it was also cool to just see you passionate about. Like it's fun.
It's fun. It's supposed to be fun.
It's a silly, funny show.
I know.
If you could ban anyone from reality TV, who would it be?
I think that actors struggle on shows like The Traitors because they're used to having call time, a set, a trailer.
Right.
And when they wrap their scenes, they're done. They're off camera. But what people and actors sometimes don't realize when they sign up for a show like The Traitors is you have to play the game 24/7. When the cameras are off, you still need to be building trust with your cast. You still need to be getting to know them. I feel like most of the time when actors come onto a set for unscripted, especially competition shows, they're like, when the cameras aren't on, they're like isolated and by themselves and trying to like refocus. And I don't think that's great for the gameplay.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
One word you would use to describe your reality TV experience.
I think overall growth.
Yeah.
From Traitors, shit show. An absolute shit show.
No,
but,
you were great.
It was. It was
great.
Fun.
It's just because you're
something.
in it right now, and
for sure,
and people are biting at your ankles. You know, like you were great, and it's also again, guys, if you're watching this, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
It's a game show.
Yeah.
Colton,
Thank
your
you.
dream. Anything you want to plug before we go home?
Just how much I love you, and I can't wait to watch Let's Marry Harry.
Love you so much, guys. If you did enjoy,
I'm nervous for you.
No, you should be.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and I'm a mess.
Yeah. Well,
but guys, if you did enjoy today's episode, please drop a comment, 5 stars, and go watch the Monet episode, which will be linked somewhere. Love you so much.